Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, do not destroy, do not diminish the things of the people. Allah said this to the people of Prophet Shuaib. What they were doing, they were destroying. When they were giving something in the weight, they give less weight. And when they give something in the measurement, they give less measurement. Then Allah destroyed that people because they were cheating people with the weight and measurement. So Allah destroyed all the nations of this Prophet Shuaib because of that sin of cheating people with the weight and measurement. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also forbade the riba. And Allah said in the Quran, Yamakullahu riba yurbi sadaqah. Allah will diminish the riba, lending money on the interest, and Allah multiply the charities, giving away the charities. Today the world has lots of problems. Everywhere in the world there is inflation, especially very high inflation in Pakistan and in Sri Lanka. They are looking like the bankrupt countries now because of the currencies keep on inflating. Inflation is deception. Inflation means you have to buy the things more expensive every day. And the inflation means your money is going to devalue every day. And it's a cheating, it's a deception. Thousands of years, human beings are using the money, gold and silver, and they have they never heard such things or inflation because gold and silver are the currency with intrinsic value. They are real money. They are real currencies. But since the time the paper money was introduced, until the time the paper has a link with the gold, there was no problem. But when the link of the gold was taken away from the paper currency, then the paper currency is floating. It's not stable anymore. How it's happened? More than 100 years ago, the American government, and they issued the $20 bill in exchange of 1 ounce of gold. 1 ounce of gold is something like 31 grams of gold. So they gave to the public, okay, we give you the $20, you return your gold to us, and if you keep the gold after a certain time, we are going to put you in jail for 10 years. And we are going to also give you the penalty for $10,000. So people are afraid and they started to give to American Treasury their gold, the bullions, the coins. They are allowed to keep the watches and jewelries. So when all the American population, they give away their gold and they exchange with the $20 bill for every ounce. Example, he has a 1,000 ounce of gold. So government will get his 1,000 ounce of gold, which is something like 31,000 grams of gold, which is 3.1 kilograms. So they will give the 1,000 ounce of gold to the government, and the government will give them $20 times 1,000, so $20,000. So they will receive the 1,000 bills of $20, which is just paper only. But because of the government guarantee, people approve it. They will exchange it for the goods. And that is the start of the deception. When American government treasury got all the gold from the people at the $20 per ounce, they announced on the radios that now the gold rate is no more $20. The 1 ounce of gold is $35. If you want to get back your gold, you can come and get it. But nobody wants to get the gold because they have to pay more money to get less gold. It's like they are going to lose like 75% of their wealth. They sold to the government their gold for $20 per ounce, but they have to buy back for $35 per ounce. So they are going to lose, for every $20, they will lose $15. So it's a 75% of devaluation. So nobody wants to get back their gold, so are happy to use the gold. And that was continued until the 1944, when there was a World War II, and there was a Britain World Accord in Europe with European countries and America and other countries of the world who were the allies. They decided that all the countries in the world who are under the agreement, they will honor the gold. You can bring the gold as a foreign exchange. Only gold was allowed to carry in the travel, the tourist or the businessman. You can go to any country. The country honor the gold, they change it with the local currency. Pakistan or Germany mark or British pound or Saudi riyal. Everybody honors the gold with a promise from the American government that whenever you bring back this paper to us, we will exchange you with the gold because you honor our paper. So whenever you come, you bring to America, we get our paper and we give you the gold. So from 1944 until 1973, that accord was continued. We were not allowed to carry other currency going to other country, only the gold or traveler check of US dollar from American Express Bank or physical dollar or the American Express card, etc. 1973, the British finance minister, he brought the $3 billion cash, which they collected from the foreigners, from the tourists. So British finance minister, he brought the $3 billion probably by the sea with the containers, but one big ship bringing $3 billion notes of US dollar. And they talked to the President Richard Nixon. He went to the Camp David and he is not talking yet. Next morning he come to the nation of state address and he announced that the promise we made to exchange dollar to the gold, we don't want to honor it anymore. We are not going to change the dollar to gold. Keep the dollar and use it. So there's a time in 1973, the gold and paper currency link was demolished, terminated. Now the dollar is just paper and it has no link to the gold anymore. And it was continued at $35, then later it became $40 when there was a war in Israel, the Arab-Israel war. But when there was the Arab and the Iraq-Iran war, the dollar became 160. In the Israel-Arab war, it was become $40 per ounce. And then later in the Iran-Iraq war, it becomes, when there was a embassy problem, when after the Iran-Iraq, before the Iran-Iraq war, when the Khomeini government came and they captured the embassy, and then U.S. employees, the embassy employees were captured. And after the Iran, during this whole situation, the dollar became $160 per ounce. Today, dollar is now $1,700 per ounce because it's not under control anymore. And the American government is forcing the oil-producing country that they should sell the dollar in oil because America has no backup for the currencies they are issuing today. The total, only the American debt to the countries is $25 trillion. And then the overall money used by the Americans and all around the world, the US dollar is probably $100 trillion. But the gold in American treasury is only something like $300 billion, not even $1 trillion. $0.3 trillion gold they are but reserved in US treasury. The rest is just paper only, not without the backup. It is something like you issue the millions of dollars of checks, but in your bank is only $300,000. So it's a deception. And because of this deception, many countries are suffering because the paper has no link with the gold anymore. And the strength to the American currency is the oil. As long as the oil is selling in the dollar is strong. Once the oil will not sell in the dollar, the American dollar will collapse. That's why when Saddam Hussein wanted to sell the dollar in oil in the euro, all Europe was together with Saddam, but U.S. government, they go with without the permission from UN, with the British government, and they go and kill Saddam. They stop the movement of selling the oil in Europe. The next thing was happened is the Gaddafi, he wanted to sell the oil in African gold coins. And that time, Europe is joining together with America, British. They all go together with the NATO and they kill Gaddafi because it is a destruction of all currencies. What is the solution we have now? The solution we have now is we have to bring the link of the gold to the currency. That is the solution. And we have to stop the riba. Because of the interest, like many years ago when there was a recession, what American government did, what British government did, what Japan government did, Switzerland, they make zero the interest rate. Allah said in the Quran, Yamakullahu riba yurbi sadaqat. When you bring down the interest or make it zero, the people can borrow the money without interest and they make purchases. When make purchases, the more production will come. So everyone get the jobs. The sellers get the job, the manufacturer get the job. So only the solution is to fix the gold rate to the currency, especially with dollar and other currencies. The rate now today is something like $56,000 per kilogram of gold. So $56,000 per kilogram, fix it in Pakistan, in rupees. Whatever the rate of dollar today is, 230, 225, whatever rate, fix the dollar to the gold. Fix the rupees to the gold, no changes. Then everything will be fixed, the currency will be fixed. And secondly, the banks become 0% interest. Especially the Islamic banks are deception, they are also dealing in riba. Make it 0% interest. Borrow the money without interest. The currency will be stable right away. As long as the paper currency will be not fixed with the gold rate, it will be always floating and it will be always deception. And this deception will never end. Zimbabwe was demolished, Sri Lanka is about to demolish, and Pakistan will be next, and every country will suffer that way. The countries where the US and Zionists, they have benefits like Saudi Arabia, their currency is fixed, always 3.7. Dubai, UAE is always fixed, 3.65. Never change. It's always same, stable, because they need to get oil, so they need to make the country stable. But those countries, they have no benefits. Their currency is always devalued. So that's a solution for the world today. Fix the dollar to the paper currency, like $56,000 per kilogram of the gold rate today. Fix it and the currency will be stable. But it is a temporary only. The real solution is to buy and sell with the gold and silver coins. That's the real, but it is not possible to do it right away. So at least if the governments can fix currency rate with the gold, it will be okay. Because the currency start with the gold, but it's no link with the gold, and then you bring back the link, the currency will be stable. So that's a solution for this crisis of the currencies. So we can stop this now, inshallah. May Allah guide us, Ameen.
Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment.